Perfect. All right. Let me pull up my list. I have so many little manga titles here for y'all. Let's see. 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 Okay. Oh, this one's fun. Okay. Can I just, I think I could just drag it right here. Look at this. This one's called, what was its what was his name? I think it was Damadol or something. Like, the English name is very weird. It's a useless idol and the only fan in the world. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. This one is like a solid B tier. Honestly, this is like a pretty good read. It's just got its serialization. It was like a bunch of one-shots before, but it just got serialized inside a manga book, like a manga publisher. And it just had like the official first chapter, but it's pretty cute. It's about this idol who is really bad at it. She's like super clumsy, and then she's got like one fan. Is that thunder? What the? It's not even raining outside. How is it thunder? Yeah, it's pretty cute. It's a pretty cute manga, I'd say. Solid B tier. Pretty good read. Look at that. Yeah, when I do this, it kind of makes it look a little weird. Okay, that's fine. Look at that. Look at that high quality picture though. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, this one's not great. This one is called The Adopted Daughter-in-Law is Preparing to Be Abandoned. It's like if you know villainous, like the whole genre of like villainous manga and light novels recently, where like there's like someone reincarnates or is isekai'd into like an otome game, and they turn into like the villainous. Instead of the main character, they're the villainous, and you know, it just kind of follows that plot line. It's kind of like that. It's like a reincarnation, but it's not really the villainous. It's more like just a random character that like is now he's the main character. So, and then they get it. It's pretty garbage actually. I'm gonna say not great. Honestly, I've been reading it for like 50 chapters. It's not great. It's very generic and not worth your time. That's a solid. Like the art's all right, but it's like not even that great. Like in the manga, like the actual panels aren't that great. A solid D tier right there. How do I do this? Man, I wish I could control this better. I was definitely not planning to do this. Oh, this one's also kind of bad. Okay, I just read trash, okay guys? I just read trash a lot. This one's called Destiny Unchained Online. It's about this guy who is apparently like the god tier gamer or whatever. It's a video game manga. It's kind of like Sword Art Online, but without the death killing or whatever. But this guy, this is a dude, by the way, he gets turned into a girl inside of a video game because his dad puts him in this little pod and turns him into a vampire. It sounds more interesting than it is. It's really not that great. Because the game... So the thing about game manga is that if you've played a lot of video games, especially MMOs and MMORPGs, you could tell that a lot of people who write these manga or like in anime and stuff, they've never played an MMO in their life. And this manga is like the epitome of that. Like the person who wrote this has never played an MMO in their life. It's pretty bad. That's also D tier right there. It's not great. It's not great. And I had high hopes for this one because I was just off reading a different one that'll show up later. But there's like a really good video game manga in this list. But oh, here's the next one. Here's the next one. This is called Dragon Ball Side Story Reborn as Yamcha. It's actually a doujinshi. Not like that. It's not that kind of doujinshi. It's not that kind of doujin. But it's like a fan-made manga about a dude who got isekai'd as Yamcha. And it's not bad. It's like 3 chapters. And honestly, solid C tier manga. Not bad at all. It's quite interesting because like, obviously he's a huge Dragon Ball fan. So he knows all about like how Yamcha is not strong. He gets really weak later on and all that stuff. So it's like an interesting play on like it's like he could do certain things to change the story, but he basically just kind of goes through it while he like makes himself stronger. He like lets other people be the main character, but he kind of makes Yamcha into like a fun little character. I don't know. It's a C tier story. Not great, not terrible. You know, fan made, pretty good. Pretty good, I'd say. Oh, here we go. This one's really good. This one's called Friarin' at the Funeral. If you've ever just were so tired of isekai manga and you're like, why isn't there just any pure fantasy manga out there? This one is honestly, I'm just gonna put it up here. This one's S tier. This one's S tier. Friarin' at the Funeral is about this elf who was a part of the party to defeat the Demon King, and they did do that. But it's about like the after story of that. Like an elf who lives for hundreds of thousands of years, and all of her like not short-lived companions, like the hero, the priest, even the dwarf, they all died from old age. So it's like her trying to like, it's basically the story of like an elf becoming almost like human-like in nature, because like at the beginning you could really tell that she didn't really care. Like she lives for hundreds of years. So she honestly, like the little tiny things, they don't bother her at all. She doesn't even understand like the emotional weight of what's happening until after everyone around her is dead. And then it starts hitting her and it's like, it's pretty dang good. It's pretty dang good. If you could read like one manga on this list, honestly, you should read Friarin' at the Funeral. 10 out of 10. Okay, you know, you might judge me for this next one. This one, you might judge me for this next one. It's called, and I know what you're gonna think. It's called Gal something. It's like Gal can't be kind to otaku. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Oh, it's like a wish fulfillment. Otaku gets to get a girlfriend that's a gal who for some reason is nice to him. Yes, it is that. It is that. But it's also just good. As someone who's read a few of these, this one is just like a good character story. Like there's just got the two cute main girls who are gals, and then the otaku is like just like a good solid main character. Like he's not like a terrible whingy cringy baloney main character. He's just like a kind of decent character. This one is honestly like B tier. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's got cute characters. It's got like a cute little story. It's got a bunch of nerding out about like a. So both this girl, spoilers, this girl and the main character really like this anime that's basically just like Pokemon mixed with Madoka Magica, aimed at children. So it's like it's just like a more like Sailor Moon mixed with Pokemon. It's pretty. So those two really love it, and they really bond over that. And then also this girl like doesn't care about it at all, but she's like doesn't make fun of them, like she's their friend and everything. So I don't know, it's pretty cute. That's like a solid 6 out of 10. Pretty dang cute. I actually just realized I have a lot of manga on this list. Jesus Christ. How much do I read? I spend like 90% of my day reading manga, I swear to God. Okay, this one's called Genso Gourmet. It's Gourmet in a Different World. It's an isekai. Yes, I know. But it's pretty good. It's almost 6 a.m. Ah, see, now it's morning, Roscoe. Now it's morning. Okay, so this one, you know, isekai generic. It's got a little bit of that, but even, yeah, I can't even say it's like, it's not even like specifically interesting because like, there's a ton of isekai food manga out there. Like it's a whole nother subgenre of isekai where it's just they go around eating fantasy food and whatever. Like, cool, I guess. I usually find most of them super boring because it's usually just like, oh, the Japanese character brings Japanese cuisine into a fantasy world and they're all super blown away because apparently Japanese food is the best food ever created. But this one's way better. This one's way better than those. It makes no grammatical sense in Japanese. It makes you mad. I mean, I think if you're talking about like me calling it Genso Gourmet, I think that's just like the shorthand title of it. I think it's got like a full title that I just didn't write down because it was too long. Let me actually see if I can find it. No, I don't have it written down anywhere. No, the title there? Oh, this? I have no idea. I can't read Japanese. This, I don't know what this means at all. But this one is way better than like a normal isekai food manga. Welcome back, Chi. Welcome back. Look at all the manga you've missed. Look at all these. But yeah, this one is honestly, usually in an isekai food manga, it's about the main character bringing Japanese food into a fantasy world. But in this one, it's about a Japanese character who eats fantasy food, which is surprisingly refreshing because for some reason they never do that. They always be like, oh, this fantasy world, oh, this weird looking plant, that's just a potato. But no, this one has him eating like phoenix eggs and like water, like apples made out of magic and water and stuff. Like it's really refreshing. And it also has this like not twist. It also has this like seasoning. It's the seasoning of the manga where it's kind of like a Victorian era. There's the master and the maid combo, which is just like really, you know, it's a good combo. Because who doesn't like a Victorian era romance between a master and a maid? It's good. It's good. That's A tier. Honestly, I read this one recently. Maybe this is recency biased, but I really enjoyed this one. A tier. A tier for sure. Which is like, I also really enjoyed these ones too. So it's not like this one's just like good. It's just like a solid story. You got ramen? Oh, what kind is it? I recently changed my ramen type to like this other packet. I forgot the name of it, but it's like so much better than the ramen like I grew up on. Like I grew up on Maruchan ramen, which is like the most generic, kind of flavorless ramen you can get. But the one I recently bought, it's like, I think it's like an actual Japanese ramen package or whatever, because it's just so good. The one you usually have? Which one is that? Which one is that? Okay, here we go. Oh, this one is like, this one came out recently. It's called Ghost Senpai's counseling session. It's like, it's like short chapters. It's got like a fun little punchline at the end of each chapter. It's about this girl who sits in like a counseling room and then like students come up to her and ask her to help them with their problems. But it's not like one of those super serious ones. It's very short and like punchline focused. It's got like 4 chapters out. It's like, I don't know what else to say. It's all right. It's like fun. It's like one of the first ones, spoilers, is like this girl who like gets, you know, is in like a terrible relationship. And then she just has like a little card. She doesn't speak or anything. She talks to like little like cards where she writes on them. And like she opens up this little like filing cabinet where it's like relationship advice. And they all just say break up. There's just a bunch of cards that just say break up. It's fun. It's a fun little thing, you know. Sorry for spoiling the first chapter, but they're fun little stories. The A1 ramune with duck or beef flavor. Oh. See, I don't know. I don't know if I've seen that one before, but that sounds good. Let me Google it. Let me see if I've seen the package before. Man, I really like how when I try to copy and paste chat in OBS, it's like it shows this like giant pin thing and it's very annoying. But yeah, this is, whoa, actually this might be the ramen I have. Wait a minute, I'm gonna go get a refill of water real quick. I'm gonna take a quick look at my ramen packaging because Chi, we might have the same ramen. Let me check real quick. All right, I'm back, and I lied to you. I'm sorry. We definitely do not have the same ramen. I saw the red packaging when I googled it, and I'm like, oh, my ramen has a red packaging. It's probably the same. It's not at all. Mine is called Sapporo Ichiban, Japanese style and original flavored soup. Ramen. I have the package with me right now. I just like straight up pick it out. Yeah, it's actually like really good. Sapporo Ichiban ramen, 10 out of 10. Would eat every day. It's actually like really tasty. And those characters aren't Japanese. Oh, is this Korean maybe? Or Chinese? I don't know. I don't know. I just read this online somewhere. So I have no idea. I have no idea what these are. Do. All right. Oh, here's one. Here's one. This one's called I Am the Fated Villain. I had very high hopes. I had very high hopes for this Chinese manhwa. Send a picture of yours in Discord. Oh, let me check. Let me check. Yeah, mine aren't like that at all. Mine aren't like that at all. Wait, here we go. Sapporo Ichiban ramen. Here, I'll show you a picture of mine. I'll show you yours if you show me mine or whatever. I don't know. I have to like save the issue. Here you go. This is actually a ramen rating stream now. You're welcome, everybody. Here we go. Look at my. This is mine. You see how pixely it is, but it's pretty tasty. Not gonna lie. Sapporo Ichiban, 10 out of 10. Okay, get that guy out of here. Yeah, that one also looks really good too. The A1 instant noodles. But yeah, this one's called I Am the Fated Villain, and it's a reincarnated. You know, I talked earlier about the reincarnated villainous genre where you go into like an otome game and you become the villainous, but you're actually the protagonist because you're a reincarnated person. Whatever. This one is like that, except it's like in a cultivation novel. So a character is reincarnated as a villain in a cultivation world. If you don't know what that is, it's called like Wushu or Zanzia. I don't know how to pronounce that second one, but it's it's basically Chinese Dragon Ball Z. If I did describe it in one sentence, it's Chinese Dragon Ball Z, where everyone tries to cultivate and become Goku, basically. It's a terrible explanation, but it kind of works. And this one I was really excited for because I love cultivation novels and I love villainous cultivation novels. But I ain't gonna lie, it's like a straight up E tier. It's straight up a E tier manga. It's so generic and honestly just not great. Like everything that happens in it is like, oh, he's just a rich asshole. He does nothing for anything. He's just, honestly, everything is just handed to him in the story. It's just too easy. Like for this, you want the main character, you want the villain to struggle to get like what he wants and stuff, but everything is just like given to him. It's very boring. It's very boring. Do not recommend reading that one. No. Okay, here's the next one. It's I became friends with the second cutest girl in my class. Very specifically, the title is I became friends with the second cutest girl in my class. And I know what you're thinking. I feel like I've said that every time, but it's good. It's actually good. It's a good manga. It's a cute manga about a boy who's not, he's like average popular. He's not like super unpopular. He's not like a loner. I don't think. He might be a loner actually. He might not have any friends, but he's not like bullied or anything. He's just kind of there. And then the second cutest girl, who is the FMC. And then she's the cutest girl in class, apparently, the blonde one. But the whole dynamic is like, oh, she's the second cutest girl in class, but she's also still like she's all like one of the super popular kids. And the main character is like not popular, I guess. And then they have like, but they bond over video gaming and stuff like that. So they become friends, and it's just like a cute little story about cute teenagers. They're all just, it's just cute. It's just a cute story, if I'm gonna be honest. This is like a B tier. This is what the I guess I forgot to like lock the layer. Should probably do that. I don't know how to do that though. Right there. It's like right there. It's actually pretty dang cute. Not gonna lie. We'll continue reading this one. It's cute. All right. Here we go. Here's another cultivation one. So you guys probably don't know this one, but this one's called I became the despised granddaughter of the powerful Miram family. This is like a Korean version. The Miram is like a Korean version of like, I don't know, the Yakuza almost. It's like a hidden martial arts world is basically what the Miram is. And this one is just straight up, I was reincarnated as a villainous trope. She is the villainess of this Miram martial artist novel, and she was, I don't know. It's not a reincarnation though. It's one of the ones where the main character goes back in time to when they were a child. You know what? Actually, it's super weird because it is a reincarnation one. I'm like remembering the first chapter. It is a person who reincarnates into the body of the adult villainess who dies and then immediately goes back in time as a child. It's super confusing because there's absolutely no reason to have that first part. The reincarnation part makes zero sense because it's never brought up again, but she is technically someone from our world who was reincarnated into this novel, who was reincarnated, who then went back in time after she died into the body of a child immediately. Like she got reincarnated and died in the same day. It's not great. It's cute. It's cute. Don't get me wrong. Like the main character is cute. Her relationship with her dad is cute because they used to be like, because like the main character's mom dies or not dies. She's just straight up not in the picture. This guy is apparently her father, but they weren't together until she was like 3 or 4 years old and she was living in the slums, and he picks her up and then brings them into the family. But because this is like a super powerful Miram family, it's like very uptight. And then these two are like not like the grandfather, who's like a supreme power of the family or whatever, like kind of ignores them and they get bullied. But this guy doesn't get bullied because he's actually super powerful. It's very convoluted, but it's not bad. It's honestly not bad. I enjoyed reading it, but it's not great. Honestly, I'd give this like a C- tier. It's not a D tier. It's not bad like these are. These are bad. But nah, it's a C tier. No, I'll put it in C tier. It's fine. It's fine. It's super unneeded. It's unneededly complicated and it's not amazing, but it's fine. Like I'll keep reading it. It's fine. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I actually just read this yesterday. I just read this yesterday and added it to my list. It just came out yesterday. It's got one chapter. It's called If a Demon Lord Were to Get Married in the Countryside. And I have to say, it's cute, but it's weird. It's weird. And not in like a good way. It's like unnatural almost. Because it's like a demon lord. She's the demon lord. The only reason I read this is because she's super cute. She's got little shark teeth, which immediately makes her like top tier. But she's a demon lord of destruction. She teleports to like a Japanese countryside. I don't even know. They don't even bring it up. They kind of just like hand wave it away. She's just like a demon lord of another world. And then she just teleports to the countryside because she likes the decayedness of the Japanese countryside with like everything just like slowly dying off because people are moving to cities. And immediately after she teleports there, a guy who is also there, he's a very boring character, but he like proposes to her, kind of, quote unquote, proposes to her. He like says some really off the wall thing while they were talking. It's like, man, I wish someone cared about me for the rest of my life like you care about destruction. And she takes it as a proposal, and it's just weird. It's just weird. The whole chapter is like, it feels very amateurish in the writing, but the art is good, and the character, she's cute. So I'm gonna put this as like a C-, because like it's only one chapter in. Maybe it gets better, maybe it gets worse. I don't know. It felt off reading it the whole time, but like I said, the art is nice. So you want to read this like weird, you know, these two people get married for absolutely zero reason at all, no chemistry. They just meet and he's just like proposes, not meaning to propose, but she takes it as a proposal, and so they get married anyways. I don't know. It's weird. It's awkward. It's an awkward manga. I think it's written by someone who's like very new to writing manga, because it's just, it felt awkward. But again, the art is cute, and she's shark teeth, so that's like a plus. That's a huge plus. Who doesn't love cute shark teeth? All right. This one is, I don't even need to say, this one is S tier right now. Like, I'm just going to put it immediately up here. This one is S tier. This one's called Insomniacs After School. It currently has an anime going on right now too, if you want to watch that instead. But this is extremely S tier. This is so good. It is like the epitome of like high school romance. How do you say that? Like coming of age high school romance. It's so cute. It's so cute. The two main characters, him and her, are adorable. They, you know, I don't know how much I want to say without spoilers. It's currently like got like 6 or 7 volumes translated, so. But all I have to say is like they join an astronomy club. They like they don't really care that much about astronomy. They just want the room, which is like a really nice club room. It's got like a telescope in it and everything. But it's just like a faraway spot in the school where they could just like hang out. And they both have insomnia. So they like bond over not being able to sleep at night. So they like go out and like watch the stars and stuff like together. It's just like really cute. It's got this like nice slow paced drama about her having like a heart defect, which isn't like, it's not like a huge pressing thing, but it's like obviously kind of, I don't know how to say this. It's a part of their lives that they have to now deal with and stuff. But it's not like a huge drama focused thing. It's like just a really nice slow slice of life romance. It's cute. Go read it. Go read it or watch the anime. I heard the anime is also pretty good. Oh, this one is also new. This one is called, I don't know if I could show this. You know, it's fine. This is safe for work, right? This is a safe for work picture. This is called Isekai Editor. It's got like 1.5 chapters out right now. I don't know why they have only half a chapter out, but it's like solidly D tier. It's not terrible. It honestly is probably like C or D plus tier. I put it like right here. It's like D plus tier because it's like terrible, but a manga editor gets reincarnated into another world and he has to save the world through manga. He brings like a single chapter of a manga with them and that convinces like the king that he can like save the world through it or something. But the awkward part is he doesn't write the manga. So I don't understand how he's supposed to save the world when he didn't even write the manga. Like he's an editor. So I'm assuming she's not in the story yet. I'm assuming he like scouts her to like write a manga for him or something. But it's just weird. It's just like weirdly, it's just weird. It's very awkward. Again, it's just like a very awkward manga. It's just like, it's like this one. It's like just awkwardly made. So I don't know. I wouldn't read this one if I'm going to be honest. I'd skip that one. Another isekai. There's like a lot of isekai manga that I've been reading recently. And it's not like I like isekai, but it's there. It's there. This one's called Isekai Walking, where a main character gets reincarnated into another world, where he levels up through walking. And now I know what you're thinking. That sounds awful. And it kind of is. It's honestly not great. I'd honestly put it here like a C- tier again. Because it's like, it shows promise. It's not awful. But like this one, it's kind of generic and it's like, I don't know. There's no reason to read it. There's better things to read. There's no reason to read this. I only read this because I have too much free time. So honestly, just don't read this one. There's better manga in the same genre as this. Just don't read it. Don't read it unless you're bored and want to read like this dude levels up through walking, but then he also gets like, you know, skills to do other things. It's generic as heck, man, but it's not like terribly written. This one I read recently. It's actually a one-shot. It's called Kaide and Snake. And it's about this snake alien thing attaching itself to her head. And she's just like so nonchalant about everything that he gets angry. Because his greatest joy, the snake's greatest joy is seeing people perturbed about there now being a snake in their head. But she just doesn't care. The whole manga is literally about her not caring. But then there's a really cute twist at the end. So I'm gonna put this in like C tier. This is a C tier. It's like a short one-shot manga. This is a C plus tier actually. This is C plus. It's cute. It's the ending is super cute. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but like she's basically like stone cold the entire time, and then at the ending, it's just you know, just go read it. It's a one shot, man. It's called Kaide and Snake. Just go read it. It's so short. It's solid. Okay. This one I don't know what to do. I don't know what this one recently ended. It finally finished. It's called Kanojo Mo Kanojo. I think it's like girlfriend and girlfriend or something. It's about, if any of you know Aho Girl, it's written by the same guy who did that. It's basically a bunch of one brain cell characters who go around. You read so much in a month. No, you don't understand. You don't understand, Chi. I'm not even halfway done. But this isn't like, these aren't like fully finished manga. These are also just like a few chapters. Like this one's only one chapter. This one's like a few volumes and stuff. So this is basically just what I read, like what chapters of what manga and what manga I've started like this month so far. And what I've ended. Like this one finished. I started reading this like a few years ago. But this one just had its like final chapter this past like few weeks, so. But it's basically about this dude who 2 times on his girlfriend. Platon, like not Platon. Like he gets permission from his girlfriend to 2 time on her with her. And then later on 2 times on her, both of them. It's a 3 time with her. And then at the very end, no, I don't want to spoil the very end. The very end is like the last few chapters. I won't spoil that. But it's basically just these characters who all have collectively one brain cell. They're very stupid. Like trying to navigate a polyamorous relationship. It honestly starts out very well. The ending was very rushed and not my favorite, but it wasn't terrible either. It's honestly a solid read this. Honestly, this is like pretty A tier. It's just like a stupid little manga about people who, I don't know, are in a polyamorous relationship. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird but good. If you like stupid comedy like Aho Girl, it's good. Because it's written by the same person. Like if you just like stupid people, it's good. I liked it. Here's another. You know, there's actually a few maid manga in here. There's like 3 or 4 manga about maids because I went on a maid kick. But this one is called Maid in My House. It's completely finished, by the way. I believe this manga is completely done. It's pretty cute. Again, it's pretty cute. It's a solid, I'm just gonna say, it's just like it's a B tier. It's pretty dang cute from like start to finish. These 2 characters are just cute. It's got like, there's a few problematic parts about it. Mostly how they hand wave there's a character who likes the little sister who's like 7 years old. This guy, who's a grown-ass adult, is in love with the 7-year-old sister, and he's like a butler of the family. It's kind of problematic, I'm not gonna lie. But if you ignore this part, like they don't do anything. He promised the big brother that he wouldn't confess to her until she's like 18 years old. It's problematic. It's problematic, but it's not brought up a lot. That's kind of the problematic part. Is like everyone just kind of accepts it. It's weird. I admit it. I don't like it. I don't like that part about it. Honestly, kind of drops it down a little bit, but the main couple here is super cute. So kind of yeah, it's very bad, but just ignore that. Just ignore that part. And then this couple is super cute. So just read it for them and ignore whatever the hell's going on right there. It's a B tier. It was cute. I liked reading it, even with the really creepy like annotations of whatever the heck's going on right here. Oh, here's a manga about VTubers. This is called My Favorite VTuber is My Student and I'm Her Artist. It's about a newly made teacher or somebody who's like trying to learn, was like studying to be a teacher and also an artist. She's studying to be an art teacher specifically, I guess. It's not really explained a lot. But she becomes a student teacher who also one of her students also happens to be her favorite VTuber, who she then becomes the VTuber artist for her. After the problematic part about this one is that the student basically threatens her to draw her a model, which I thought was very messed up because that's a lot of work and effort to be like forcing someone to draw for free. That part was very awkward for me to read specifically. And honestly, it's cute though. It's a C tier manga. It's cute. It has this whole thing where her model is always like super scary. Like she drew her original model and it looks like a child's drawing, but it's like apparently it like makes kids cry or something. It's fine. It's like a Yuri romance thing too, also on the side. I don't know. It's all right. I mean, if you like Yuri romance about like VTubers, I guess it's all right. That's all I got to say about that one. It's all right. It's only got like 16 chapters out right now. Here's a fun one. This one is about a dude and his childhood friend, which is her, and they have this like non-romance. It's non-romantic childhood friends, but she's very connected to him in a way that, I don't know, it's a little romantic, but like it's not romantic. And then the main character falls in love with her, who she is in love, not with them, but with like the idea of childhood friends because she's been alone a lot of her life, I guess. So there's like this whole triangle about dude's in love with her. She doesn't really care about him except as a friend. And then these two are slowly becoming friends because she doesn't want him to fall in love with her because she's seen a lot of her friends become very distant and like they just kind of stop hanging out once they fall in love and get like a boyfriend or girlfriend. So she doesn't want her childhood friend to get a girlfriend. He falls in love with her. She just wants to watch these two be childhood friends together. It's very cute. It's a little bland, but I like it a lot. I'll put that in B tier. It's called, what was it called again? My Princess Childhood Friend. These two are just very cute. The main character dude is a little bland. I think he's kind of the worst part of it. He's just kind of there to be, you know, he's not even, I wouldn't even call him the main character because it's like more based around these two than anything. But he's just kind of there to be the childhood friend boy who falls in love with the other girl, I guess. I don't know. We don't really see a lot about him, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, we see about it. There's like chapters focusing on his point of view, but he doesn't have that much of a personality. But it's cute. It's cute enough to be in B tier, I think. It's great. God. I'm not even halfway done yet, I don't think. No, I'm like halfway done. Here's another cute one, which I will also put just immediately in B tier because I enjoy reading it. It's got like 8 chapters out. It's about these, it's called No Miyahara, Not You. It's about this guy. It's like the same, it's like almost the same thing. It's about this guy who's in love with her, who's friends with her, who's childhood friends with this guy, but he keeps getting cock-blocked by her unnaturally, like she's the airhead character. So every time he tries to hang out with her specifically, she always shows up because they're like really close friends, and she kind of cock-blocks him, but at the end it's like, you know, it's fine. And it's kind of showing how like this guy is slowly like, he's still in love with her, but he's also slowly like falling for her. It's adorable. It's honestly adorable. It's better than, honestly, it might be like a B+ too. I don't know. This one is also probably, I wasn't like thinking about plussing, but like this is kind of like a B+ tier too, honestly. This one's really good. This one's pretty good. Honestly, pretty dang good. I don't know what's happening. There's no, it won't let me move anything right now. Weird. Why wouldn't it let me move anything? You know, it's fine. It'll just be there. It'll just be there. It's not letting me move anything. What is happening? There's no selection to move. It won't let me. What? This is why I don't use GIMP. There we go. I had to move it through layer, apparently. Weird. But yeah, this is called Otherworldly Munchkin. Let's speedrun the dungeon with only 1 HP. This is an isekai manga about a guy who gets isekai'd into another world, and his superpower is that he has a book that can read the statuses of everything. Like he has a status book. He basically gets reincarnated into a D&D world where he has the player manual. No, he has the DM manual is what it is. But he's also cursed to only have 1 HP, so he can't get hit at all. It's not great. Honestly, this is like C- tier. I'd put it at the same level as this. It's got some nice RPG, like D&D terms and stuff. Like, obviously this is someone who's played a tabletop game before, so I can't put it on the same level as like Dungeon Unchained or whatever this is called, Destiny Unchained. But it's also not great because the main character is just kind of trash. His whole thing is that his sister also got reincarnated into this world, so he's trying to find her. And he does some kind of messed up things to do it. Not like a villain, like not like he's like an anti-hero or a villain thing. It's played off almost as laughs, which is what I don't like about it. But he basically forces his companion to change her religion so she can get better buffs and stats and bonuses. And I thought that was really messed up. It's just like kind of played off. It's like, oh, she needs like a +3 attack bonus. She should change to this other god. Like she should change her whole religion for a few days. And I thought that was just messed up. It's just, he just like forces his companions to like give up their whole identity just so they can get like slightly stronger so he could like clear a dungeon faster. So he could try to find his sister. It's weird. It's a weird manga. Honestly, it wasn't for that. I'd say it'd actually be a lot better if they just took that out. Because it uses a lot of nice like D&D tropes in it. But there's like too many of the moments where he just like completely screws over his like companions, and I just don't like that. So yeah, that's like a solid C-. Here we go. I do read a lot of manga. You know, I may read a little too much manga. Honestly, this isn't it. I don't even have like a full list of everything I've read. This is just the ones that I like picked specifically, that I like read a chapter this month and I was like, I should put this on my list. Like sporadically I put things on here. This isn't even like, this is like halfway. This one's good. I'll just say it. I like this one. This is called Pick Me Up. It's about a guy who gets stuck in a gacha game, which is more interesting than you think. It's like a hardcore gacha game where every character who dies is permanent, like it's permanently gone. So it's not a game you would want to play in real life because like you spend money to like pick up a character and then they go into a dungeon and die permanently. Like who makes a game like that? It's basically if you put like Fire Emblem like permadeath mode mixed with a gacha game. It's interesting though. It's good writing. It's got like good character art. I believe it's Korean. So it's like a more of a webtoon than a manga, but it's pretty decent. I think this is like solidly C+ tier. It sounds cool actually. It's honestly, it's got great art. It's got like great art. It's got like a good story. You know what? I think I was being a little harsh on it. It's like a solid B tier. Actually, every time this pops up in my feed, I enjoy reading it. It's good. Honestly, I would play it. If this was a gacha game, I would play it for a few weeks, but I would get traumatized every time my characters died permanently. Only C+. No, I think it's a solid. It's a solid B tier. It's a little hammy. It's a little hammy in places. Like he gets like this demon power up where he goes like up into a berserk rage that gets him like superpower. It puts the main character in positions where he should not win, and then he wins anyways, which is nice because it's like trying to fight insurmountable odds. Like the whole point of the game is that they're climbing up a tower, and every like 5 floors is like an extremely hard like fight or whatever they have to do. I can't really explain it very well. It's good though. It's good, but it's a little hammy. And it gets a little repetitive, but it's good. I'll put it, you know, it's B tier. I convinced myself it's a B tier. It's B tier. Oh, here's another villainous. I also went on a villainous kick. Okay. I read a lot of villainous manga. So this is about a girl who gets reincarnated into a villainous role, into like the villainous role of an Otome game. And she chooses to get kicked out of being in her position of a nobility so she could go open a stationary school next to like the royal school for children. where it's not even a stationary school. It's not a station. It's not even a stationary store. They sell candy. I don't know why it's called Please Don't Come to Villainous's Stationery Store. When she doesn't sell paper products, she sells candy and treats to children. They should just call it a candy store. It's very odd. It's like a C tier though. It's cute. It's a little repetitive. It's, you know, it hits all those villainous marks where she meets like a better guy who is like higher up in the social ladder than the person who dumped her and whatever. And it's fine. It's average. I've read better villainous stories. It's average. This next one is called Please Leave Me Alone. For some, it's a light novel title, it's a light novel title. Please leave me alone. For some reason, she wants to change a lone wolf's helpless high school life. It's about this guy who gets hit by a car saving a popular girl, and then they go back in time, and it's just him and her who know that they're back in time, and they have to relive their high school days. And it's got this whole aspect where he's trying to be a loner, and she's trying. This isn't the main girl, by the way. This is like a secondary main girl that comes in later. But the main girl like tries to make him make friends with everybody so they can live their happy high school days and pink-filled whatever garbage. But he's so against it because he just wants to live his loner life again. And it's not even that he doesn't want to have friends, is that he's just kind of not written well. This is C tier, yeah. This is a C tier manga. It's like if you read My Youth Romantic, like, what is that one called again? It's been so long since I've read that. Snafu? You guys know Snafu? It's like if Snafu had a dumb younger brother who also reincarnated. A dumb younger brother. Like, this guy tries to be Hachiman and he's just kind of bad at it. Origairu, that's what it's called. It's just like a bland version of Origairu, if I'm going to be completely honest. Very solid, like C minus tier. I'll just stick it in C though. It's not terrible, but it's not great. God, there's so much left. Oh, this one came out recently. It's called Renai Daiko. It's the same person who does Kaguya, and also the person who wrote Oshi no Koi. It's not great. It's also problematic. It's also very problematic in ways that I don't like. Not like hugely problematic. It's about these two idiot high schoolers who are so incompetent at love that they pay a buttload of money to a company to basically tutor, like basically do their love life for them. So these two characters, they look like hand puppets, but those are like their like phone message icons or whatever. These two characters are basically coaching these idiots into how to be better at making the other person fall in love. Like, it's all right. Honestly, it's not terrible, but there's a few parts about it that I dislike. Mostly is that I think she has a camera on her person at all times that is like constantly showing a feed to the raccoon or the fox girl who's like, so she could coach him better. But it's like in a high school. So she's basically constantly recording people inside a high school, which isn't talked about at all. But it's very odd to me that the manga is just like hand waving it away. It's like, oh, I need to be able to see his facial expressions or whatever, so I could better help you. And it's just like, you're constantly having a person recording a high school. Like, what if they need to go change for like PE class or something? It's so weird. And also this guy, the first time we get a chapter about the dude is basically just saying, oh, what do I like about this girl? She has a hot body. But then they try to play it off like he's actually this really good guy who is like, he's got like super nice qualities of a good guy. But you also know he's kind of trash because the only reason he likes this girl is because she's hot. And then later on, the most recent chapter, this girl basically has a bunch of fetishes about this dude's body. Like she really likes his hands and his Adam's apple. It goes very specifically into how much she enjoys looking at his hands and Adam's apple. It's just weird. It's just weird. It's not like, it's just weird. Honestly, it's good though. It's like a C plus B minus tier. It's by the same guy who did Kaguya, so it's like, it's got good enough writing. Though a lot of the writing is also just them basically taking a page from Wikipedia about like some basic psychology of like, oh, if you talk to this person a bunch every day, they'll start to like you more or something. It's just kind of like a wiki dump too. Honestly, it's not great. Compared to Kaguya and Oshi no Koi, this one falls far below those standards. It's very sad, but the art is good. The art is good. The art kind of saves it because the art is just nice. But yeah, I don't know. It's like he only wrote this to like make money, I feel like. Like he's just trying to profit off of the fact that he is a good writer. He is a good author. We've seen it before. Oshi no Koi is like super good. I should have put Oshi no Koi on this list. I've read that this month. Oshi no Koi is S tier. I just gotta put it. I don't have a little thing for it. Oshi no Koi is S tier. Go watch it also. The anime is also really good. But yeah, this is like not great. It's like a solid C plus tier. Oshi no Koi. Oshi no Koi, you're so right. It's not koi. It's not about fish. Sorry, I got so heated up about this I started saying the wrong. Yeah, it's Oshi no Ko. God, I don't know why I kept saying koi. But yeah, that's way better. I put this as C plus instead of just like a C tier because I hope it gets better. Because I love the author. He does, like, I love Kaguya. I love Oshi no Ko. But this one is falling far below those standards so far. Sadly. Sadly. I also... Here's one. This one has... Don't look at this. Don't look at her in the background. I wonder if this is even safe to show on stream. If it's very small, they'll never know. One of those characters has a very not great outfit. But this one's called RPG Real Estate, where these girls... It's like a cute slice of life. A story about these girls who get houses for fantasy in a fantasy world. They like try to rent people houses and they have to make all their fantasy needs. It's good. It's honestly, I put it in B tier. It's good. I enjoy reading this. It's just like a cute little story about these 4 girls who try to rent out houses in a fantasy world. That's all I can say about it. It's just cute. It's a 4-coma style. If you don't like that, then I guess it's not good, but it's basically just K-On, but people trying to rent houses. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It's cute. It's a B tier. No, it's like a C plus tier. I don't want to put it, I was thinking it's a B tier, but it's not nearly as good as these ones. It's like a C plus tier. I'd say it's as good as these ones. It's cute though. It's something you should read if you're bored and you just have the time to read it. And here we go. Talking about video game manga for a second. This one is called Shangri-La Frontier. And this, in my opinion, is the epitome of video game manga I have read so far. This is written by a man who's probably played way too many hours of an MMO. It still has those tropes that are from like Sword Art Online and whatever. It's still got tropes that are like, make the main character the main character. It's not great in some of those aspects. Like the main character has like immediately gets hit by like this super special cursed item that makes him not be able to wear like armor on his chest plate, but gives him super good buffs and things like that. It's got that. It's got the not great parts of some of these video game manga, but those parts are completely engulfed by just how well this guy makes his stuff. Like this is S tier for me, specifically me. Because it has so many good aspects of just video games. And you know what's great about this? This isn't like Sword Art Online where you only have the one video game ever played, you know, because obviously they're stuck in it. But like a lot of these video game manga only ever have the one video game because it's like the super ultra popular video game that they only ever play this one game now. This one actually constantly brings in other video games to like show. So the main character loves janky video games. Just like a solid point. That's just like a solid good +1 for the main character. He likes trash video games that are broken and janky, and who doesn't? Who doesn't love a little bit of janky video games? But this guy's like a professional janky video game player. And he goes around playing all the worst video games and beats them. And then eventually, well, in the first chapter, but eventually for him, he gets around to playing the video game Shangri-La Frontier, which is what they call a quote unquote God game. Because it's a VR MMORPG, which just is like just the best game ever made. Say, like I said, it's got those tropes. It's got those tropes. But they just do all the tropes to like the best of like it's like the epitome of the tropes. It's just good. It's just solid video game knowledge, solid writing, solid character design. The character design is amazing. The main character looks like he's like a Dark Souls character who's naked but is wearing this bird mask. So he's basically just a normal Dark Souls character. It's amazing. It's got like good video game aspects, good story. It's solid. Like if you're not hooked on it by the time they beat like the first main boss, then you just probably won't like it. But if you could stay until they beat, it's called like Weldeman Guard something. If you could stay that long where they beat like the first like huge boss, which, you know, another bad point for it is like it's got that whole aspect where it's like they've got these unkillable bosses that are part of like a main story that is some weird sci-fi thing where it's like it's got its own mind of its own or whatever. It's got points like that, but it does those to the best of like the best of the genre. But it's in the fighting. Oh my god, the fighting, the fluid of the action. S tier. Like I said, S tier. It's just that good. For me, it's just that good. And every new volume, it's like upping itself. So volume 1 was good. Volume 2, like this is at volume 13. Volume 1 was good. Volume 2 was great. Volume 3 is amazing. And it just like keeps topping itself every volume. It's just so good. They're currently in like a professional fighting game arc where him and like his two friends go into like a professional fighting VR MMO tournament where they go and like just like there's this he just pulls out this brand new fighting game out of his ass and it looks like super fun. And they go at it. It's like a superhero villain fighting game where you have to not only fight each other, but there's also like this whole environmental aspect where you're like playing into the superhero fantasy and the villain fantasy where you have to like save random civilians while you're fighting across like a whole city. It's just good. It's good. It's good. S tier. Shangri-La S tier. And coming down from that, we have a manga that's called She Was Actually My Stepsister. So it's about this dude who gets a new stepsister who he thinks is a stepbrother because she's like a tomboy. So this is her who like their parents remarry. He gets a new stepsister. He thinks it's a stepbrother. He does all these very awkward things, which are fine if it was a brother. But eventually, like 10 to 12 chapters in, it's actually a little bit longer than you would expect. He figures out that he's actually a girl. And it gets a little bit awkward. And there's this weird, like, romance now. There's like now this weird romance aspect to it. And it's very awkward. It's like a C-. It's like if someone took a Ramo and made them step siblings or something. Which makes it better than a Ramo because that incest arc was very awkward for everyone involved. But yeah, if you want like if you want to read something about a dude who gets a stepbrother who's actually a stepsister, and they, I guess, slowly fall in love while living in the same house is okay, I guess. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's problematic. It's just problematic. Very problematic. Here's one. It's called Shikamori's Not Just a Cutie. I've been reading this one for years now, but it just finished. Or it finished like a few months ago, and I just got around to finishing it. Which, it's good. It's good. It's about this dude who's super unlucky, who gets a girlfriend who's super cute, but also super cool. How many more did you read? I have like a good solid 10 more. But again, this isn't like reading full volumes. This is like just what I've just like read of like a few chapters. I mean, I've read a few of these. Some of these I've read like over 50 chapters this month, but ignore that part. I read like 100 chapters of this month. Okay, I was like 100 chapters behind, and I just like binge read it all. It's good. It's good. It gets really repetitive. It gets really repetitive, really fast, but it's a good solid story. It's like a B tier story. It's cute. It's got the main character super unlucky, the girlfriend who is like super cool and saves him from like a bunch of like randomly flying objects a lot of the time. But she wants to be seen as cute. She doesn't want to be cool. She wants to be cute for him. But she's super cool, and she can't hide that. And then there's a bunch of side characters which are all right. They're decent, I guess. It's got a lot of drama. Not really drama. It's like non-drama drama, which just makes it kind of tedious. And I don't know. It's a cute story, but it gets repetitive really fast. But it's good. I'd read it again, probably. In like a few years, I'd probably binge read it again. Maybe, if I remember it. It's like a B. It's like a B plus. No, it's like a B. It's like a B minus. It's like higher than a C plus, but lower than a B. It's like a B. It's like a B. I don't know. It's like a B. I don't know how to rate this. It's been a while since I like read the start of it, so I kind of just read like the last 100 chapters in a binge, but it gets a little repetitive. And it gets like a little hammy too. Where it's like just constantly the main character is trying to better himself to be a better person for her and like not to fall to his bad luck. But it just gets so repetitive. And it's cute because like everyone's super supportive all the time. But the super supportiveness all the time also gets a little repetitive. Because like, where's the conflict? There's no conflict. Everyone likes each other. So where's the story? I don't know. I don't know. It's good though. Good, great. It's got good art. Here's a new manga that just came out like 2 weeks ago. It's called Spring of Little Me. It's about these two volleyball people. Big volleyball girl. I'm calling big volleyball girl and little volleyball man guy. Little volleyball guy who I guess they're trying to fall in love in this weird story about them playing volleyball simultaneously at the same school. But he's very, I don't know, he's a downer. Every time he thinks, oh, maybe she's a little bit into me, she's like, no, I suck. There's this other guy on the team who's a childhood friend of her who's like super good at volleyball and also really cool looking, and he compares himself to him a lot, and it's just tedious. It's tedious. It's 2 chapters in it already feels tedious. But it's got some good paneling, but it's, for me, it's a C tier. I'm just going to put it out there. It's a C tier so far for me, because I feel like it'll get cute in the future, but right now, it doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's just tedious to read. It's like a C tier. If you like volleyball stories, though, I guess I'd give it a read. The volleyball aspect is more of like a backdrop, though, to like their budding romance, I guess. I don't know. It's 2 chapters in. There's not a lot. It's a C tier. And there's not a lot of A tiers up here, huh? I'm just shoving everything into B tier. It's because there's not a lot of A tiers I've read. This one's called Takako-san, which is a slice of life story about this girl who, I think literally what the synopsis was is like, it's a slice of life story about this girl whose superpower is that she could hear a little bit more. Like she could hear a little bit better. I don't know what to say about this. It's just a fluffy slice of life story about this girl who like really appreciates sound. She appreciates like daily life of sound, where she like, I don't know, every time she hears something, she like draws on eloquently about like, oh, I really like how the cicadas chirp in summer. It makes me feel relieved or something. I don't know. It's cute though. It's a B tier. It's a B. It's a B. It's slice of life, man. It's hard to ruin slice of life. But this one's got good like art, good paneling, good, not like the story is non-existent, but it's good character. She's cute. The B tier. This one. Oh, how do I explain this one? This one is called The Exiled Reincarnated Heavy Knight. Is unrivaled in game knowledge. Oh, how many of these do I read? How many isekai game stories do I read? Jesus Christ, what is wrong with me? This one's a D tier. I'm just gonna put this straight out. This one's not great. This one's about a guy who gets reincarnated into a world where he knows, like, it's a video game world, but they're not living in a video game, so they think that this tanking class is garbage. He's a tanker. He's called the Heavy Knight. His class, every character has a class, and it's very much a video game world because they have stats where they can allocate themselves into skills. But it's not good. It's not good. If this was a video game, I would not play it. And it's also just the logic of this world, who calls this class terrible, but he can like immediately solo a bunch of mobs because he put a few skill points into his main class, which apparently I guess everyone who's ever had this class just hasn't. But he's apparently a god who could do all these things, and it's just like, oh god, it's just not good. It's not good. Why am I still reading this? Like, it's just not good. It's like every character, it's like the whole world is based around these, everyone like just loves the DPS. It's basically just everyone is a DPS class if you're good, and if you're not a DPS class, you're trash. But that doesn't make any sense. Even though in a world where if you die once, you're dead forever, and like in a video game where you could just try a bunch of things at once, it's just like, you need a tanking class, because else you're just gonna die in one hit. You need a tanker, you need healers. What's the point? What's the point? It doesn't make any sense. It's bad, okay? It's bad. It's got good art though. It's got not even good art. It's got decent art. It's got a cute girl in it. I don't know. Don't read it. Don't read it. There's better things. Don't read it. Oh, it just makes me angry. I like hate read through that story. Like 50. I read like 60 chapters of that crap this month, and it's just not good. Why do I do this to myself? On a higher note, this is A tier. I'll just say it right off. This is called, again, I said I read a few maid stories. The Food Diary of Miss Maid. It's about a maid who gets, I don't want to say trapped, who's basically stranded in Japan for a year because their mansion that she worked in got hit by a meteorite or something dumb. So basically she has to live in Japan. She is like half Japanese, so it's not like she's like a foreigner, but she's basically never lived there. And I guess she knows Japanese. It's never explained why she knows their language, but she lives there. It's a cute slice of life story about this gluttonous maid who goes around eating food. It's great. It's great. What can I say? It's cute. It's got good food facts. It's got great looking food. It's got cute maid, 2 cute maids, because she's also a maid who goes over there to like make sure she's okay. It's just cute. It's good food. Makes me hungry every time I read it. So that's a downside if you don't like being hungry, but it's just good. It's just good. Read this. Read this. Don't read this. Don't read this. Never read this. Read this. It's cute. It's just good. It's good soul food. It's soul food is what this is. Makes you feel good after reading it. This one's also A tier, wait. This is called The Jobless Siblings. I've been reading this for like a few years now, but it's about these 2 NEETs. The brother, this guy, and the sister, this girl, are NEETs who live with their parents, and that's like the whole premise, is that they're NEETs. Come on, you won't read any of them? No, read this one. Read this one. It's so cute. It's nice to listen to your experience. Well, at least you're having fun that way. Some of these are good though. At least read the S tier ones. Read the A tier ones. This is so cute. But yeah, it's kind of like a short, it's like a 1-page chapter where sometimes they have like a multi-page chapter that's really good. It's just like a good, solid, funny sometimes story about these 2 NEETs who like try to make their neighborhood. They're not trying to do anything. They're just like good kids. They're good kids. They just don't want to work. They're just good kids. But yeah, it's fun. There's occasionally, like most of the time, it's just like kind of gags. Not gags, like it's not like gaggy, but like most of the time it's just like fun little stories about like the characters and the characters around them. But occasionally they have these really good introspective chapters about a character that like just go into like this deep dive onto like why they're like, I don't know. It's just good character work. It's just like really good character work sometimes. But most of the time it's just like 1-page things. It's got like it says it has like 300 chapters, but most of them are like just 1 pages, so it's solid. I like it. A tier. A tier. Here's another back in time garbage story. This one is called The Revenge of My Youth. My real life with a girl who was too much of an angel. It's about a guy who goes back in time because he dies, I guess. I don't remember. It's been a while since I read the first chapter. But he goes back in time and he's like on the library committee with this girl who committed suicide, which is her. Spoilers for the first chapter, I guess. She committed suicide in the future because she had too much pressure put on her because everyone expects her to be like this perfect angel person. Where he goes back in time, he was a salary man. So he's living with all these teenagers. And what's refreshing about this is that he doesn't go immediately become a teenager in his mind either. Like a lot of these go back in time stories, they basically become infants. They become stupid children again. But this main character becomes like he's still got the mind of like a working class adult. So like he's not bothered with all this petty high school bullshit, which makes it better than most other stories. It's like a C+ tier. Because it's still like super tropey and not great. But it's like a solid, it's like the main character makes it refreshing. He just talks to them like they're people and he's like done with all the high school bullshit about like being super scared to talk to a girl or not standing up to a bully or something. It's refreshing enough, I guess. This next one is like a Korean web novel kind of thing, I think. It's called The Secret of the Partner Next to You. So this one's not great, but I love it. I love reading it, but I can objectively say it's C tier. But to me, it's kind of like a B tier, but objectively, this is a C tier. It's about these two who is just a guy and a girl who sit next to each other in class. They're friends. They're very good friends. There's nothing romantic going on until he finds this girl. You can see right here. She has a tattoo. He randomly finds her in the street one day. She's out smoking a cigarette with a short sleeve shirt. She has a tattoo. And right then, it's like his heart has been struck by Cupid. He loves that version of her, but she acts like a stupidly cute airhead bubbly girl at school, like normally. And like, there's just like a fun little dynamic where she's like a very cute bubbly girl. He's like a airheaded boy kind of. And then like, he doesn't understand why he's attracted to her after seeing that she's like a badass bitch. But like occasionally, like every chapter, like the gag is kind of like once a chapter, she turns into a badass bitch and he gets like more in love with her. I don't know. It's cute. It's cute, but it's not great. It's not great writing. It's adorable though. This one is a comedy manga. It's called The Healer is Annoying. This one's funny. Okay, this one's very funny. This one is super gaggy. So many gags about this healer, this dark elf healer, and an incompetent swordsman, where the swordsman is basically the worst of the worst. He's garbage tier. He can't hit a slime with a sword. He's so bad. But she's worse because she calls herself a healer, but she's basically like an evil healer. But she acts like she's a normal healer. It's just, there's a lot of comedy here and it's great. It's a B tier story. It's B tier manga. I laugh every time I read this. Because of just it's one of those, if you know like a Sukomi or whatever, it's like a slapstick kind of thing where the knight straight man, and then this girl is the crazy one. And there's just like a good back and forth every chapter. It's just very funny. If you like comedy, I would read this. It's just a very funny story. It's just funny. Here's yet again another story about a guy getting isekai'd into a video game. How many of these do I read? I'm reflecting. I'm reflecting on my life right now. How many of these do I read? This one is called The Tyrant of the Tower Defense Game. It's a guy who gets reincarnated into the Prince of a Kingdom who is on the verge of collapse because there are monster waves coming every few days, every week, I think. And he's basically living in a gacha tower defense game. We have to get characters. They have to protect their castle, but also they have to go delve into a dungeon to get items to craft things. It doesn't sound great when I put it like that, but it's solid. It's a very solid B tier story. The character is funny. He's like a very evil character, but he's a good guy inside because he's like a reincarnated version of him. But he can't talk without sounding like an asshole, which is funny to me. And it's good, decent. Like the game aspect, it's basically the game aspect is only there because they get is originally a game. The main character was a streamer where he 100%ed the game that he gets transported into. That's pretty generic, but he's like the only one who's ever done it in like hell mode, where everyone dies permanently if they're dead, and it's just very difficult game. And now he basically is forced to go through this game in hell mode, in like hell plus mode, where he has to make sure like people die. Like, spoilers, people die, and it's very heart-wrenching. Like, this guy is good at giving characters a personality and you're rooting for them, and then wants to rip your heart out when they die. Like, one of my favorite chapters is like in like the second wave, or like the second wave, where like one of like the coolest, I don't know, the way this one dude just dies is like, it's such a dramatic and nice way. I enjoyed reading it a lot. Honestly, this would have been a C tier, but recently it's really kicked up like an over. I mean, honestly, no, I think this was always B tier. The beginning was also super solid. Honestly, if you took the video game aspect out of the story, it would be even better. The video game aspect serves as nothing at all. Like, it doesn't need to be in there, but I guess it's like an easy way for the readers to like get into it, where they don't have to explain this whole fantasy world. It's solid though. Solid B tier. If you like tower defense strategies mixed with good character work, and honestly just like kind of a touching story sometimes, it's good. Like, these people on the verge of death like constantly. You praise a lot of stuff and it's like a solid C. Well, I'm saying it's a solid C. C tier is good. For me, I'm not one of those guys who like a 7 out of 10 is garbage. C tier is good. This is a B tier. Like, everything in C tier I enjoy reading. D tier is when things get bad. E tier is garbage. In F tier, I haven't put anything in F tier because I don't think I read F tier stories. But like, C tier is good. C tier is like my 5 out of 10. It's just solid stories. Like, these are good, but these are great. These are amazing. And then these are godly. And these are bad. These are garbage. These are like not even worth looking at. I guess I should have explained my ranking, but like, C tier is middle of the pack for me. Which I don't know why a lot of people I've seen people who rank things and they're like, oh, C tier? Why would you ever read something at C tier? Like, that's garbage. C tier is my garbage one. And I'm like, why? What is the point of having all these rankings if you make C tier garbage? C tier is middle, solid middle. I read it, I enjoy it, but it doesn't like have a lasting impression on me. B tier, good, solid stories, lasting impression for like a few months to maybe like a few years after. A tier stories, something I'm probably gonna go reread once it's finished. After a few years, I'll reread these for sure. And S tier is something I would reread like once a year. Like, I'm constantly looking forward to new chapters of these coming out. And every time they do, I'm super excited and want to read them immediately. I'm running out of space. I'm running out of space for my middle tiers. Okay, this one is brand new, just like one chapter out. It's called Until Your Sword Breaks. It's written by the same guy who did another manga I like called The Death Duke's Maid or something. I don't remember the full name of it, but like, it's about this, I don't know, it's a cute little story about this girl and this guy trying to be like the best swordsman, and then this girl is like trying to look cute for this guy, but she's like super tough and powerful, and then they were childhood friends, so he can't see to her and is anything more than a childhood friend he used to like wrestle with. So, and then there's like, I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's a good plot twist at the end of the first chapter, but it's not like amazing. This is like a C plus tier for me currently. Again, there's only like one chapter out, so it could lower or raise depending on how good the rest of the chapter's on. Honestly, I put it on B tier just because I know this author and he writes some decent stories, but currently it's not amazing. And it's just kind of okay. So I'll put it here. Like, I'll continue reading it, but I don't know where it's gonna go. I'm gonna like put it like right here. It's probably like a solid C. It could be a B in the future, but the first chapter, it's like, it's a C. It's a C. Here's another isekai story about a guy who goes into a video game. Oh, but this one's good. But this one's good. This one's good. This one is solid. Solid B plus. This is a solid B plus. Ah, thank you for the hydrate, Chi. My throat's kind of hurting. I'm almost done. Ah, Chi, go to sleep. Go to sleep, Chi. But there's only 4 more. There's only 4 more, Chi. There's only 4 more. I'm almost done. But this one, but go to sleep. Have a good sleep, Chi. Have a good rest. You can't stay awake any longer. But there's only 4 more. But this one is a solid B plus. It is when I woke up. I got the strongest equipment and a starship, so I went and became a mercenary in order to live as I please while aiming for a detached house. It's got a light novel title. It's basically, what's refreshing about this, it's like a sci-fi. If you ever played Elite Dangerous, it's basically if this guy got reincarnated into Elite Dangerous with like a top tier ship already. And it's very refreshing. But also, it's got this harem aspect to it that I'm not like the most fan of. But that honestly, it's not a big detractor. It's not a big detractor. The romance in this story is very basic. It's like very basic. It's got a harem to it. This guy's getting a harem or whatever. But what's refreshing is that it's a dude in a starship going around killing like bandits and space pirates and stuff. It's just a refreshing read. Because rarely ever do you get an isekai into a sci-fi story. And rarely ever do you get an isekai into a sci-fi story where it's a lot of just battleship, like it's just a lot of like starship fighting and stuff. And it's just like if you ever played like EVE Online or like Elite Dangerous or something, it's a lot like that. And it's very fun. I like it a lot. Personally, it's an A tier for me, but objectively, it's probably a B tier, so I'm going to put it in B plus tier. I enjoy it. Here's another villainous story. I don't remember this one. Let me, I don't remember what this one is. Which is weird, because I know I've read this one. I've read like 50 chapters of this month. Straight up, do not remember what this one is like. So, oh, I remember this one. Wait, I remember this one. I remember this one. This one is not great. It's basically a bog standard. I was reincarnated as a villainous novel in a villainous novel. But the thing about this one is that the dude who she was in love with in the novel is like a big old piece of shit, which is not new, but he's like a yandere for the main girl, and I don't know, man. It's generic as heck. It's not great. It's like an E tier story. I straight up just didn't remember it because it's so bland and boring. Like everything is solved unnecessarily fast. All the characters are boring. And all the main male characters that fall for her for very little rhyme or reason. It's boring. There's no payoff because there's no setups. Is the problem. Everything just kind of happens. There's no setup to anything. E tier. Honestly, maybe even an F tier, but that feels a little harsh. E tier. Not great. This one's called Wild West Miram. You know, I talked about Miram earlier. It's basically like a Korean fighting, like like a hidden fighting or like a hidden martial arts organization or something. But this one is set. This one's basically just a fantasy novel about a guy who's I forgot he's reincarnated too. No, but it doesn't come up. The reincarnation part basically never comes up at all. So it's fine. It's just like a solid fantasy story about some Korean martial artist, but it's like set in a Wild West setting, which immediately makes it pretty good. So it's a C+ for me. It's just solid Wild West setting with martial arts. I like it. It's good. It reads good because honestly, I haven't read a Wild West story in so long, and it not having guns in it or anything makes it way more interesting because guns are kind of boring to me most of the time, but it's just like Wild West martial arts, pretty dang good. Here's the last one. Okay, last one. I binge read this. So the reason you read someone is because you read too much. Don't call me out like this. Don't call me out like this. Here's the last one. It's called Wisteria Wand and Sword. It's basically Harry Potter, but if Harry Potter was not a wizard, but instead used a sword. But it's still in a world full of wizard and magic and stuff. It's, if you know Mashal, Muscle and Magic, it's basically like a non-parody version of that. It's Harry Potter, but the main character uses a sword, and it's all right. It's a C tier. I'm gonna put it in C tier. It's just barely, you know, just barely there. Mashal is nice. Mashal is really nice, but the good part about Mashal is that it's a parody. But this one is the opposite of a parody. It takes itself so seriously, but it just kind of falls flat. It just falls flat every time. Every scene where I want to get super hyped up and like really just like all the fight scenes and all the things, they're good. The art is good. Everything is good, but that's all it is. It's got no heart to it. Like it's good. That's it. It's just good. Like I like the whole Harry Potter aspect to it. I like the whole sword aspect to it. But all the super hype scenes just kind of fall flat because I don't know. The characters aren't the best. Yes. I don't know. The scenes and characters, the art's good. The setting is good. The characters and the scenes themselves are only okay. That's all I could say to it. If you like Harry Potter though, maybe you'll like it. But so far, I have to say, I've binge read like everything that's out so far, which was like 50 chapters like yesterday. I finished binging it like yesterday and the day before. And honestly, I have to say that every time I got super hyped for what was going to happen, it just kind of fell flat. Because I don't know, it's a very shitty explanation, Mr. Critique Man. I'm trying to explain it to you, but it's hard trying to remember everything about every one of these, but it's just like this. Okay, in the most recent chapter, there's this super hype moment where the main character basically goes Super Saiyan, okay? He basically just goes straight up Super Saiyan. Like literally, his hair turns blonde and everything. He goes Super Swordsman, okay? And the scene leading up to that was so cool. Like it was trying to be so cool, but it was trying too hard to be cool that it kind of came around to being cringy. Now please do this with literature books, thanks. I could literally just go grab a bunch of books I read. Like I could definitely do this, but here's the full list. Like this thing, it's a C tier, C+ tier. It's honestly B tier in a few scenes I've read. There are like, it's not bad. Again, it's good, solid story writing, good solid world, but it just falls flat whenever it needs to like hype itself up. It just kind of falls flat. I should do this with books though. I've read a lot of books. I can just do a full tier list of all the books I have on my like my little bookshelf over there. Post the whole pic on Twitter, please. They cannot see much. Yeah, I mean here, I could like just go through it real quick. I'll post it on Twitter, don't worry. But yeah, these are the ones you should definitely read. S tier. A tier, you should probably read. They're good. They're great, even, I'd say. They're great. B tier is good. You know, read these if you're bored or if you want a fun story. C tier, the ops. Is S tier? It's so good! Bad taste? What, you don't like it? The Insomniac one is so cute though. What do you mean? It's so cute. Every time I read it, it may only be S tier because they do batch volume. They do like a whole volume and they dump that all at the same time so I can binge read it every time. Maybe if it was like chapter by chapter, I'd like it less. But honestly, it's so boring. No. Well, if you don't like slice of life, I guess you wouldn't like it. I like it though. I like the slice of life aspect of it. I like the slow burn romance, okay? I like it. I mean, if you want my trash taste, I put Kanojo Mo Kanojo as A tier. So I can't say I'm not trash taste over here. Here's the B tiers. B minus. These are all B. This is B plus. These are B minuses. B minus. B minus. Here's the C's. The Yamcha Dragon Ball one was fun. I only put it as a C tier because there's only 3 chapters of it and it's like kind of bland towards the end. What was the quintuplets over there? Quintemp? This one? Quintuplets? What? This one? RPG? One that looks like a wedding? Oh. Shikamori? This one? It says Shikamori is not just a cutie or something like that. Miss Shikamori is not just a cutie. Does that look like a wedding? This looks like a wedding to me. I didn't read that part. Once I saw the wedding part, I immediately went over to it, okay? Now, this is B tier. It gets a little... Like, if you want to hear me rant about it again, it gets very, like... It's a very solid manga the whole way through. Enjoyed it thoroughly. But also, it's very, every kind of chapter feels very similar to every other chapter. So, it's solid. It's good. Great art. I love the art. But yeah, I would not binge read this. If you're going to read this, read it like 10 chapters. Like, read it in like a volume at a time. Do not binge read the whole thing like me, because it feels very similar if you do that. Don't do that. Here's the C tier. C, all these are like C plus, C minuses. This one's about a VTuber. So that's fun. Honestly, I think this is more of a C plus. The more I think about it, the more it is an enjoyable manga to read. It is enjoyable to read. I think I'll put this as a C plus. And also maybe that's recency bias because I binged the whole thing yesterday, but it's solid. It's solid. I'll give it that. It's solid. And put it like right there. It's like higher than a C, but lower than a C plus. Like it's a C something. I don't know. Here's the D tier. Don't read these. These are garbage. This one specifically. Do not read this one. Do not read this one. Do not read 50 chapters of this one like me. Don't be a fool. And these ones are just, these are not great. These ones are just not great. Yeah, here's the full list. I'll post this on Twitter for sure. Also, I could post a list if anyone wants it in my Discord of like the actual names. Like of everything as actual names, but then I'd have to write them out as in order, but that sounds kind of a pain. I could just like post a giant list of everything here and you could find it yourself. You could find it yourself. Or I guess watch the video because I like watch the VOD because I definitely said every one of their names. Yeah, here's the list of everything I've read this month that I decided to put on this list. There's still other things I've read this month. Trust me, there is much more that I did not put on this list because I either only read like a single chapter or it was mostly because like I only read a single chapter of it this month and I didn't feel like finding everything I read a single chapter of this month because then I would have so much more. Like I don't even have like One Piece or anything from there. Like there's a bunch of weekly manga. Actually, there's like weekly manga I read that is definitely not on here. But these are all the ones I wanted to talk about today. There we go. No F tiers, you know? No F tiers, which I guess is good. But honestly, if I didn't have E tier, these would be an F tier. Can I wait for your book stream next time, Blitz? It's not gonna be great. I don't read books I read so much manga, but I guess I could go and like do a whole tier list of like books I've read since my childhood. Like I could put some really cringy books in there that I've read since I was a kid. But I also don't own a lot of the books I've read, so it's gonna be hard to like. On this, it's very easy to find manga I read because there's a website where I read them on. For a writer, you should read just a few more books. I read a lot of light novels and web novels, you know. I don't know if you're talking about specifically like literature, like published books, but I read a lot of web novels and stuff like that. And light novels. Books, you said, yeah, that's what I thought. I should read more books. I should. I've been reading that book though, like occasionally. I haven't been like reading it like super hard since I finished the first book. And I can't really remember the name of it. It's like this the Court of Thorns and Roses. Was that it? Court of a Kotor? I've been reading the second book of that like slowly reading the second book of that. But that book is also is very problematic. You know what? I'm gonna say it. I think a lot of that parts of that book is very problematic. I know it's supposed to appeal to the female fantasy, but there's a lot of weird parts to it that I don't find very comfortable. But also, I understand it's not meant for me, so I can appreciate it for the parts I do like. You're also still reading it, but somehow I hate everyone there slowly. I'm hating them very not slowly. I dislike most characters in this book. I read this like I'm watching a train wreck, if I'm gonna be honest. Especially the dark magic user, whatever, that has the thing on him. Honestly, the male characters piss me off so much. All of the male characters piss me off so much. Like, there's just so much wrong with them. Not gonna say like the female, like the main character isn't great. She's pretty bad herself, but the male characters specifically make me angry. Everyone loves Rice Hand. I hate him. I hate Rice Hand so much. He is very, very problematic. Your team Tamlin? Is he he's the main, he's like the main guy, right? Yeah, he's fine, I guess. He's also problematic, but less so, I guess, than the other ones. I don't know. Mr. Blonde Furry. The furry. I didn't want to call him the furry, but yeah, the furry. He also has issues that I don't like about him. Specifically, I don't know why the author put in that whole scene of him having to have sex with someone to do something or another. I don't know. There's a lot of parts about this that just feel too horny for me. This series is too horny for its own good. Because it's got some really nice prose, and it's got some really decent enough world building. Like, it's got decent, I like the world building, and the prose is written nicely, but my god, it's too horny. It's too horny, and all the characters are pieces of shit. It's really just a lot of stories of very bad personality people. Like the Kardashians of fantasy. Exactly. It's like if the Kardashians was written nicely. Yeah. The only, like, the main saving grace is the prose. I love it. It's written very well. Like, I love reading it, but I hate everything about the people in it. Yeah, I should do this. I'll do this for books, because I have a lot to say about a lot of books I've read. So I'll do this for books. It'll take me like a month to plan it out, because I gotta find books. I wish there was a My Anime list for books, so I could figure out all the books I read as a kid. Because there's so many. But I could just do the main ones. I have like a whole bookshelf over there of cringy young adult novels. So I can do that. Book stream. Hey, when's our book club stream, Ringo? When's the book club stream? Huh? Huh? Childhood books. Yes, I have a lot of young adult fantasy novels that are probably very cringy. Oh, my phone's messing up. Give me a second. That are probably very cringy to talk about, but I'll do it because screw it. Screw it, I'll do it. Because god dang it, I have a lot of cringy novels I've read. I need to reread a Kotar first because some things I wanted to talk about but did not take notes. Oh, I mean, I don't take notes. I mean, I remember stories well enough. At least the parts that make me angry and the parts that I enjoy enough that I could probably talk a lot about books that I've not read in like years. Which sucks. No, actually, I've always hated the part about myself that I was like, I can remember books so well. I can't remember other things very well, but stories are like trapped in my mind, and it makes it such a pain when I want to reread them, but I still know everything. Because it's like, I wish I could forget books more, like faster, because god dang it, rereading them would be a lot better than. But I need to go. My throat's dying. I've talked too much today. Just shows you don't read enough books. I read Ringo, I read like a book a day when I was in high school. I literally, not a day. I've read like a solid 400-page fantasy novel, like a few a week at least 2 or 3 a week when I was in high school. I've read a lot of cringy fantasy novels, okay? A lot of young adult fantasy novels, or like, I don't know, like children fantasy novels. Like, I could do a whole series about why I like Percy Jackson so much. Why I read so much Percy Jackson as a kid. Quantity and quality, you're so right. You're so right on that. But I'm just saying, I've got the quantity done. But the quality, maybe not so much. I'm a Percy Jackson kind of guy. I was just into every single fantasy novel as a kid. I read all of Harry Potter, all of Percy Jackson, all of these like, just like, name a fantasy, like a fantasy novel aimed at children. I probably read it, unless it was something like, I don't know, that one about the animals. The cat one. I did not read that one. I was not a furry as a kid, sadly. But I heard they were good. I heard those are good books. It's like Over the Wall or something. I don't remember them. I didn't read them though, but I heard they're good. Narnia? No, I read Narnia. But it was like, I don't know. It's something about warrior cats. I think it was literally just called Warrior Cats. Or something like that. I don't know. It was weird. I've read so many, like, God, so many. I'm just like, the memories of like reading Ranger's Apprentice or something like that just bubbling up in my mind. So much fantasy novels aimed at children that I enjoyed so thoroughly. That probably rereading probably aren't that good, but dang, I enjoyed them back in the day. Warrior Cats was a thing you haven't read, but supposedly good. That's exact. Yeah, apparently it was very popular and very good, but I've never heard of it before, like a few years ago. There are people who enjoyed Twilight. I mean, hey, I ain't trying to yuck anyone's yums, but I have my own opinions on things. I did not like Twilight. I didn't read Twilight. I did watch the first Twilight movie, I think, and I was like, man, none of this shit makes sense. That's not how vampires act. It's very weird. But yeah, I need to go. My throat is dying. But yeah, I actually, you know what? I'm definitely gonna do. I'm glad I did this stream today. You know, I wasn't planning to do it today. I was just kind of slowly preparing to do it sometime this month, and then now this month is like already over. So I was like really thinking, when am I gonna do this? I'm glad I did it today because it's fun. It's fun. Let's see. I'm gonna write this down though. Rating books I've read as a child or something. I know. That's on my list of streams to do though. Go drink some tea, Mr. Writer added Celia. Will go drink. I'm actually out of tea. I need to go brew some more tea. I'm gonna go brew some tea. haven't had some hot tea in a while. I'll go brew some peppermint tea. What the heck? Did you guys hear that? Did you hear my Amazon go off right there? My Alexa? What the? I didn't even say anything. It just like went off on its own. What was that? That was my Amazon Echo Dot for children. It was my children's Amazon Echo Dot that Amazon sent me on accident. That I thought I had unplugged. It's not. I only ever use it to play music. I only ever use it to play music when I work out, so. You know, it is whatever. All right, I am out of here though. I'm dying. I also forgot to turn my air conditioning on, so I'm sweating through my chair right now. Why does that do that? Why does that blink when I pull it back up? But yeah, here's, I'll post this later on Twitter, and I guess a higher resolution one maybe on Discord or something. I don't know. But here's the list of manga I've read this month. Maybe I'll do another one next month. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what I'll do? I am unpredictable. God, I'm gonna read so much more manga next month. You know, I'll do it. I'll do it next month. I'll even keep a more accurate list of everything I've read, so I can make this, but 10 times more. Thanks for Shame. Thanks for being here. Thank you for the raid too. You know, I don't think I said that when you did it because I was planning not to stream anymore, but thank you for the raid. And I don't see anyone that I know that I could raid, so I will just end it here. Goodbye, everybody. See you next time. Tomorrow, Skyrim, same time, same place. Monday, actually doing a cool Monday stream, getting drunk and playing some tabletop games. I don't know who's going to be there. Ringo, you better be there. I'm holding a gun to your head right now. You better be there. But yeah, I'm going to play some tabletop games with some friends on Monday and get drunk because I have the day off. Let's go. All right. Goodbye, everybody. See you later.